Welcome to your new SideQuest podcast with the intention of helping you through the game of life with mindful reframing and awareness as we all move through this journey called the human experience. It's time to level up. Alright, everyone, welcome to your new SideQuest when shit hits the fan. This is Derek.
And this is Zach.
In this episode, we talk about how our lowest point in our lives affected us and how it became a catalyst for something better. We'll both share about our lowest points in our lives.
So I will share about what happened to me in 2022. There was an incident that I had on social media. I was involved with a photographer and models group, and I was excluded from that group because at one point, this was all happening during kind of like a social movement of body positivity. And so I had a friend who was a model, and I had said a comment to her that offended her about her body, and then she shamed me online publicly and to this group too. And then there was another model that I worked with, and she was honestly not in the most like stable mental health condition. So she accused me of just like body shaming her and really like just making her feel uncomfortable during the shoot. And then there was even one more model that was like claiming that I sexually assaulted her, which was like a totally false story.
Those claims against the guy, especially publicly, is just like, so society will easily believe those claims because
Which is so messed up. Yeah.
there's that bias. But like, yeah, if a girl accuses a dude of being sexually assaulted, like all that bad stuff, like everybody's gonna believe it like easily,
Yeah.
which sucks. That's why it's very hard on your reputation if that ever happens to you, if you're a dude.
Oh yeah, my reputation was trashed that year. And ironically, this was during a time when I was actually growing as a portrait photographer, but these women had decided to kind of band together and bring my image down so that they could elevate, which is totally like totally wrong.
You were just targeted.
Yeah, I was, kind of like the I guess what you call like the I don't know, image of someone like a villain. I was
bad
basically
guy.
the bad guy, yeah. So during this time, I was also dating someone. I was dating a girl, and our relationship was kind of rocky. But then, when I told her about the incident and what was going on, just caused her to really like think differently of me, and we broke up. And so it made things feel worse for me. And I spent those months in 2022 really being honest with myself and trying to process the whole situation. Like I went off grid from social media. I kind of went through a few rebound relationships because I couldn't even understand my own emotions. And eventually, well, I just had to really like kind of grow and kind of learn from that experience. So I guess that experience itself really humbled me that year because it taught me that my support system really matters. Like whoever was by my side and listened to me and not like, go with the side that was biased against me, they were my true friends. And so I learned that like your real friends have your back during those moments.
Yeah, 100%. I totally experienced that too recently from our little pickle group drama. And mind you guys, during this time of Zach's lowest point, I actually wasn't in his life yet. We haven't met yet. I didn't know anything that happened during that time, so
But you did hear like some stories.
yeah, I did hear stories of I only had a one-sided story, but like even so, like I was in the middle of my own personal growth that I realized, I only have one side, and also people can change too.
Yeah.
So, despite me kind of knowing a little information about the situation, I still accepted you without any judgment, just because, because I grew, I'm self-aware. I grew.
Yeah. And plus you
And
weren't like biased, like you
yeah.
weren't part of that group.
Hmm.
It was more so you had just kind of a neutral feeling, right?
Yeah, it was just I was neutral, and yeah, I didn't. It's not like I didn't care, but I just had it in my mind, but
Yeah.
it didn't affect me like building a friendship with you,
Yeah.
despite of all of that. So like, yeah, guys, don't fucking judge anybody until you know the full story, or at least both sides.
Yeah, I'm so glad you mentioned that because then, like, that also allowed me to show that I'm capable of growing as a person. Yeah, despite all the stories that were made about me and stuff. So, yeah, everybody's human. Everybody has the capacity to change.
100%.
Yeah. So, Derek, share about your lowest point.
So recently, I guess it was pretty recent, within like 5 years, I guess. Yeah. So I had a very deep friendship with one of my Japanese language partners in Japan. We became really close. We were best friends. Basically, like it was so easy being, around her. And throughout that friendship, we just understood each other, and like things were going great. Um, just randomly she told me that she discovered she had cancer, and that like shocked the hell out of me because she was very healthy. She like ate great, she exercised, she's very smart. She was a pharmacist, and we were in constant contact because of our craving for the practice
Mm.
of exchanging our languages. And yeah, overall, like eventually she had to be sent to a hospital in Fukuoka where she totally just called it off. Like she didn't want to continue talking with me because she knows where this was going. It was stage 4,
Oh, shoot.
and that broke my heart. Like that really broke my heart. And
What was going on through her mind?
she just didn't want me to be a part of it. I think it was like an act of love
Wow.
because she didn't want me to go through that because she knows like how close we were. She just didn't want me to go through that. And after that ended, it kind of like a switch went on in my brain, just telling myself, you have to take care of yourself, your health, especially your mental health. Like I have to cultivate and invest in it because I don't want to end up like that where I have to end like a relationship or a friendship just because I was gonna die.
Yeah.
And I went into basically this personal growth journey. That's where I started. That's when I started my personal growth journey.
Wow.
That was like the catalyst of my growth through
Mm.
that. And so I started investing in like personal growth classes online. Like I learned how to meditate, I learned how to exercise efficiently, eat better, like breathing exercises, cold showers, all that bullshit that you see in self improvement content, but it's not bullshit, it's actually like functional information that you could use
Yeah.
in real life. But man, like I was growing like during that time. After that, I was literally going up like in terms of my health. I got my abs back, and I was feeling better. I grew my hair back, it was a bunch of cool things that was happening to me. And I was still married at that time. So unfortunately, when my ex-partner saw me growing, um she didn't want to be a part of that. Like she saw me changing. She saw me really changing, like not only my body but my whole personality, I guess, because I was a lot more, I guess, not how I used to be.
Mm.
And I think what it was that she felt like I was leaving her behind.
Yeah, she saw you growing without her.
And that relationship eventually ended because, or well, that was one of the reasons. And I also hit another lowest point of my life, because like no one wants to be divorced, no one wants to go through that shit. But
Yeah, when it rains, it pours kind of thing.
yeah, so I lost two. It feels like I lost two times, and because of my growth, I decided to be like, I'm not gonna give up. I'm just gonna continue on this path even when shit hit the fan, right?
Yeah.
So like, yeah, everything processed. I moved out, got my own apartment, continued my journey, and eventually I'm here. And honestly, I feel like the happiest I've ever been in years. I have like great friendships, great communities that I'm a part of.
Mhm.
I'm living a really simple life, but like it's just full of love. It just feels like I'm receiving all this love that I missed during the time I was with my ex-partner.
Yeah, it's very aligned with the kind of life that you want to live.
Hmm.
So powerful. And thank you for sharing that story about your friend from Japan, and how there were different factors too that led to your marriage and stuff. And yeah, I believe that like those lowest pain points are the catalyst for growth.
So what would you tell yourself if you got the opportunity to go back in time?
I would, so going back to my situation, when I remembered who was supportive of me during that time, I really got to see, who were the fake friends versus who were the real friends and who stayed. So, what I would tell myself if I were to go back in time is to really cultivate those relationships, because your support system really matters the most, even when shit hits the fan.
100%. You need a village backing you up, basically.
Yeah,
That's a luxury to have a good support system.
it is. Yeah. It's very foundational to like your mental health and your personal growth too.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. What would you tell yourself if you were to go back in time?
I would tell myself that, even though shit happens like this and it sucks, this just might be the price you pay for a better life.
Wow.
So, let's go into a mindful reframing here. You want to take it away, Zach?
So it is at your lowest point that you are open to the greatest change.
Simple as that.
Yep.
So, yeah, we're gonna end it right here.
Yep. And thank you guys for listening to our lowest points. And if you resonated and connected with this podcast episode, be sure to give us 5 stars on Spotify as well as Apple Podcast. If you're watching this on YouTube, give us a like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you again for listening. This is your new SideQuest podcast.
Side quest complete.